Hi, good morning.
Good
Or good
morning.
afternoon,
How
right?
are you?
Good
Afternoon.
afternoon.
So we've never met face to face. I'm
No,
Kelly Young. I help Sister Irene. I run Sisters Rising for her. So tell me a little bit about you.
well, I'm Julie Matthews.
Yeah.
I'm Sister of Mercy for this year, 34 years. I live in Guyana, born, live here all my life. Only when I did my training in my novitiate to become a sister, I lived outside of Guyana in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I'm in leadership, in one of the Institute ministers for the Sisters of Mercy, but I'm in ministry, regular ministry. I'm at the orphanage here and the academy, and I do all sorts of other things.
Right.
Too many things.
Right. So the orphanage, it caught my attention. It's for boys. I've got 3 boys, so love it. So my question is what work do you do with the boys there? How do they get there? What do you do? Tell me a little bit about the program.
Okay, so as you know, this orphanage is long in existence since 1879 with Jesuits, but we have been sponsoring it since 1902.
Okay.
Sisters, we have a long history. Basically, the boys come from what is called the convalescent home. Okay. Which is really not a convalescent home. It's Red Cross convalescent home. It was run for children when they had a lot of gastrointestinal problems. But now it's like a baby orphanage, I would say. Okay. So the boys, when they reach nursery school or kindergarten age, the boys come to us and the girls go to the St. Anne's Orphanage, which is run by the Ursuline Sisters, but they're closing. So a lot of them come from there. Some of them come from the government, just usually sometimes through the courts. Lots of times they have been abused, either physically or sexually abused, or the parents in prison, and there's nobody to take care of them or no family member that can assist at this point in time. So even the orphanage is really a misnomer, because we do have some true orphans, especially when there was no help with AIDS, when they didn't have the medication. So we have some children who have lost both parents to AIDS. But then a lot of them come because of poverty, neglect, abandonment. Those are the hardest, actually. Those who were left in the Georgetown Hospital or abandoned at somebody's stairs, and those are the most troubled ones, I would say. So they come for all sorts of reasons. Just to sum up, either from a baby orphanage, a baby home, or through the court system, or so the welfare officer may find they're neglected or abused and send them over to us. And some are true orphans.
Yeah. So would you say the range then, maybe the school age, from kindergarten, do you go all the way to 18 or?
Yeah, high school, 17, 18. Yes.
So my boys and we did a mission trip out in Guatemala, and and it was out there, it's called a temporary home, but some were orphans and some had issues and they were brought there, right? And there's always these special kids that just totally clicked with me. I had Yanette, I had Marvin. Are there some boys and their stories that really stand out with you from the time you've been there?
Oh gosh, many of them. You asked me a little earlier what we did too, but we provide education, housing, everything that you do for a home. Right. But we put a lot of also emphasis on music and the arts too, because it brings out a different gift, and sports. Right. It allows them to get some of the anger and other issues out in a more creative and productive way. But going back to your question in terms of what stories that stand out. Okay, well, let's talk first about Matthew. Matthew is diabetic, type 1. The most we've been able to get him to do is to write his name. So numbers, he knows, he could say 1, 2, 3, 4, but he doesn't know the value. Okay. So he has been the soft spot for everybody in the orphanage, because he is very street savvy. But he doesn't know numbers, and he doesn't know anything, and he makes up all sorts of stories, and he's sharp and he's adorable, And yet it's like you have to give him the insulin every day. Everybody is part of his care.
Right.
Because it's like you just see him sweating, and the children would say, sister or miss or whoever it is, look, Matthew, I think his sugar is high. They know. It might not be, but they know something is off. So the boys, everybody is involved in his care. So he, I would say, is really special. And it's interesting that there are two of them who have medical problems. There's Anthony. He came only a year ago. The sweetest smile. He has sickle cell.
Oh.
And that, thank God he hasn't had a crisis since he came to us. But everybody is aware of his condition, and they want to, I think he milks it.
Smart kid.
Yeah, he milks it. You tell him something, he gives you this sweet smile, and it's like, you don't want to discipline him after that.
Right.
So there are those. And then there's Nicholas, who was different. He's gone from us. He wasn't very good at math, but he's very good with languages. But when he went to one of our older sisters, that was 90, would teach him math. And so she would say, what you want? You did very well, what you want? Sister, I want a Spanish dictionary or a Dutch dictionary. And it's like, oh my God, are you for real? The internet taught himself so many languages. Right now, I think he speaks about 9.
Wow.
Got the opportunity to study in Norway in a program, and so he finished his high school there, and so he learned that language, and he did languages. He got a scholarship to North Carolina to study, and he always wanted to be a diplomat since he was small. How did that word ever came into his vocabulary?
Right.
And it never changed. And when he went to school, he did like international relations, Spanish. Now he's teaching Mandarin Chinese online in the morning before he goes to work. And so those are some really interesting stories that
fascinating. Such a confidence. 9 languages. That's incredible.
Yeah,
I struggle with English.
And he could do all of this, and he's trying to learn German now, and but he's just incredible, and has always, I could say, 2 children at the orphanage always knew what they wanted to do. One wanted to be a baker since he was small, and today he's a chef now, and he graduated from school with catering and so on. But he always wants to do that. So those, and I think the other stories that really warm our heart would be, because we have those from up to 18, and then we have 2 other homes. One from 18 to 21, it's supposed to be 21, but it's 22, 23, 24 until they get on their feet. And then one just around the corner in the village where I live, for boys that are developmentally, mentally challenged, but can work and function, but would never really be able to live on their own.
Right. Wow.
And we have 2 that are 25, so they come over here, and of course Matthew. The 2 that are 25, and all the boys know that even by the time they pass 8 years old, they know that they are better academically and everything than these guys. And it's amazing to see how Steve the other day said, oh, I will take Moses shopping, Christmas shopping. I will go with him.
Right.
He's 25 and Steve is 16. And he was willing to take him shopping because he knew.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So like at the orphanage, is there the director then, you're directing, but are there nurses there? Are there teachers there? Like, what is the dynamic?
Okay, so we have the caregivers. Years ago, we used to call them matrons. We have caregivers, and they're the ones that look after, getting them ready for school, supervision when they play, supervision in the dorms. Then you have, and they have shift. because it's night and day.
Right.
And we have a cook, we have a laundress, so that's the orphanage per se. And at the school, now we have a school, so we have teachers there, the primary school, because they go out for high school. So we have teachers, and one teacher is a nurse, and we have two sisters living in the convent, Meg and me. We live here, and we have Mercy Hospital, which we sponsor. So they give free care to our boys. So they're taken there. And there's a clinic in the village just around the corner. So we don't have a resident nurse, but I think by now all of us know how to do a lot of things.
Right.
But healthcare is easy, yes. And then we have some tutors in the evening, which I do not like, homework. Worse yet, research projects. I hate them.
Right.
Because I would like to do them for the boys because it takes long.
Right.
So we have tutors that come in the evening and supervise homework and help with research. And Sister Meg, she's in the sciences, so she does a lot of physics, chem, math, biology and so on. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So.
So you, how did you hear about Sisters Rising worldwide and get connected with our organization?
Well, actually, it was a Sister of Mercy. Said that Sister Irene wrote to her saying that somebody had an interest in orphanages and homes. And, I guess she just reached out to two of us, one in Jamaica and here, and said, would I be interested? So right away, I said, certainly. I wrote Irene, and it was easy. After then, she just wrote back to me. She sent me the onboarding form. I filled that up. And really, this organization is really, really easy and a joy to collaborate with, really.
Thank you.
A whole lot of rules, a whole lot of expectations. Make it simple. I think you work maybe, I don't know, in all these other countries that your language is simple and we could understand, and it's not a lot of hoops to jump through. Right. And very responsive, quick. I mean, when I get shut off of the site, I write right away, somebody responds. They're going to look into it. And I just feel very responsive. Yeah, so it was simpler. She wrote to me, I wrote to Irene, and then it's just
bam.
It happened right away. I mean, this COVID, you wrote to say, well, maybe, people were looking at other interests and different things, the war in Ukraine and so on. But you always kept me like, that you cared, that you're just going to address it right now, but in the future, and as soon as you could, you did.
Oh, good. I'm glad that we met your expectations. That's the whole point, is to really help you sisters that are out in the field doing all the great work. So some of you so you wrote in a program and then you put in a funding campaign, which is you requested $15,000 to help your program. So we were able to go ahead and fill that.
Yes,
sent you the $15,000. What did you do? What were you able to achieve with the $15,000 that we gave you?
Well, it was around nutrition and education.
Okay.
And so, as you know, the prices are really high for food right now, all over the world. Right. So it really helped us to give them better meals, more balanced meals, because rice is in abundance here. But you need more than starch. So it really helped with the nutritional level of the boys. It helped to get some, as I say, Marcel still give free care, but like vitamins and so on, we would get if they have to give us extra, but we will buy, or sometimes people donate. But it helped to, like, a flu is going around right now, so that would help us to give them the emergency vitamin C. And we had to buy those, things like that. Just the whole nutrition. And as you know, when you have good nutrition, you learn better, you don't fall asleep as much. So that was a great help. With education, I believe that if we do not give them an education, we do not really address some of those real causes that bring them in the first place. A lot of their parents are not educated, they're living in poverty, and every boy is different and their ability is different. And so it's not to measure the one that could speak 9 languages than the other one who can't read and write, but to give them an education in which they can function in society. and become, so that, school books, uniforms, sometimes some computer programs we could buy, because some of the boys learn better like that. So things like that, the general education, we have to get them to school. I travel a lot and I drive the bus, but now it's, we're able to get somebody else to take them to school. All of those ways in which it's really, really helpful. But I think the biggest impact, I would say, is that you help to contribute to raising these children out of poverty and to give them an education and a sense of well-being, I would say.
Oh, that's so sweet. So obviously you're a big fan. You would encourage other sisters to go ahead and be a part of Sisters Rising worldwide, because there's so much more on that platform, right? Like you can chat with other sisters too in your area. You can, learn how they're doing, programs in different areas. So would you think that this is a tool that a lot of sisters should, join and become a part of the community? Do you think it would be beneficial for them?
Oh, I would absolutely. I mean, I think for me, just the interaction with you and your care, it just feels, even when I send photographs, it's like you'd write a little note. I mean, it gives to me, when you feel isolated and alone and the hopelessness of the situation right now in our country, when others see you and see the need, it just gives you hope and the strength to continue. So that's one way. I think, you mentioned it's such more than what we talked about earlier, that you could connect. I think as sisters, we are fewer in the world. Some are young, there are a lot of older sisters, depending on the type of religious community. Some having more vocations than others. But sisters like us, we're all over the place. There are a few of us. That networking, that connecting, to know that other people are doing it, maybe learn stuff from others, really important. I think the collaboration, the networking, but more just the ease in which you relate with us. And I think that I would encourage other sisters definitely to get on board, because even if you don't get anything, you have a community that cares. Right.
For sure. All right, well, keep us in the loop as your project grows. If you have any other needs, we're funding programs all the time. We're funding 4 more in the next couple weeks. So we're always looking for more programs. So talk to sisters out there, let them know. If you need more, you just give us a holler or write us through the Peace Room and we'll see what we can do for you guys, okay? But thank you so much for your time. It was really great talking to you and meeting you. You're a sweetheart.
Thank you so much. Yes, I was so happy to talk about it. I said I'm not going to look at those questions. I'm just going to speak because I know the ministry so well.
Right.
But thank you for sending the questions. I did glance at it, but I didn't do a prepared anything. Yeah. And know that my prayers are with you, because this journey is long. And as Easter comes and Mother's Day and every birthday and on the 1st, just know that you have me here in my heart and prayers.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it very much.